Hello once again, Nitro Fanatics. Let's see if I can get this done after having batteries die. Is that on there straight? Yeah, good enough. After having batteries die in my camera, losing memory, phone falling, not having the camera at the correct angle, I'm tired. It's 11:19 p.m. Saturday night. But a user asked me to do a comparison between the Fortec and the Jato. To me, that's sort of comparing apples to oranges, but sure, I like to help, so why not? First off, they both have 3.3s, mine do. With the Fortec, depending on when it came out, when the person you're getting it from, or if you buy it new, they came with the Pro 15, the 2.5, or the 3.3. This one actually came with the 2.5, which I still have right here. Overall, they're both extremely fun. This is great for on-road and off-road, but if you want to go off-road, you're going to have to get rid of the rear Anaconda tires and put on something else. Right now I have Talons on the rear, 2.8 Talons. Made for the Stampede. I had already shredded one set, and then I had somebody offer me another set shipped for $10, so I said sure, why not. I'll go through one more set and then go to Pro Line. You're looking at two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, that's 3.3, and then you're looking at and a 2-speed transmission, and then you're looking at a all-wheel drive 3.3 belt driven with 2-speed. So very big differences between the two. My Jato has Revo shocks, pink up front, green in the back. You need silver springs in the back because the back is heavier. With the Jato, you're looking at about a 70-30 weight distribution, so 70% of the weight's in the rear, 30% up front. With this, you're looking more like 45-55, so 55 in the rear, 45 up front. This is very fun on asphalt, and that's about it. Blacktop asphalt, depending where you're from. Up north, I know northerners like to call it blacktop. Of course, in classic Traxxas fashion, they use plastic everything when they can get away with it. So plastic drive shafts on all of them, going to the wheels. But really with nitros, you don't have to worry about that. You can upgrade it. But personally, I don't see the point, especially with nitro, unless you're running a big block. Which I have some that run big blocks. So, like my Revo, I'm slowly converting it to put this motor in it. And I know I'm going to start shredding parts. Okay, other things. On the front of the front suspension of the Fortec, you can change caster, camber, and toe. On the front of the Jato, you can only change camber and toe. Like right now, my right wheel has more camber, negative camber, than my left tire does. And that's probably from one of the few times I cartwheeled. It's not really dramatic, but I can see it from sitting behind it. And yeah, this is a new way that I'm doing videos because I have completely rearranged my room. I have built 16 feet worth of shelves. I have two 6-foot shelves of 1x12 and one 4-foot shelf of 1x12. All the way up top. And yeah, the video I did before this is that. A Fortec is very fun. I'm not going to say it's not. It's belt driven. I haven't broken a belt yet, but I'm going to have to be replacing the main belt soon because it's getting chewed up quite bad. I'm running a modded 3.3 in this. Between the two, which will win a drag race, this one. If I was to put a I have this specially geared. I have custom gearing on this. And honestly, as of right now, I really don't want to give out that information because as of now, I've gone 88 miles per hour, and that was when I was still breaking in the motor to a point. I had already broken it in, but I was just doing some high-speed passes to really get things broken in. I had already done like 10 tanks. Then I started putting power down, and I was like, okay, let's see what it can do. It did 88 miles per hour. A lot of people say if you didn't tape it, then it didn't happen. Whatever. I'll eventually get video of how quick and fast this thing is. I run belted tires on this, but I also have some foams for when I'm speed running, and also some treaded tires if I'm running on a dirty surface or a damp surface. With these, I have some foams as well. I also have some drag wheels for the front and some foams for the rear, some good sized foams. Foams are better for speed running in my opinion because you don't have to worry about ballooning as much. Belted tires are expensive, foams aren't. You also have less rotational mass. But the worst thing that can happen is whoever makes the foams, it's not a good foam, it's not glued on, and a chunk breaks off. I saw a video, a guy who does the X-Max speed vids. His buddy did 168 miles per hour, but as soon as he passed the traps, I don't even remember what tire it was, but one of the foams blew off the tire. And when you wreck an RC car at 168 miles per hour, you have to realize a 10th scale at 168 miles per hour is going to scale 1,680 miles per hour. But it was an 8th scale car, so I would have to do the math. And probably closer to 1,300 miles per hour to scale. This thing is insanely fun. I found that the best temperature for this motor is between 200 and 220 degrees. I can run non-stop 50% throttle or more, and I'll get between 10 and 12 minutes on one tank. I think this has a 125 milliliter tank. Don't quote me. This has a 100 milliliter tank. This I will get about 15 minutes out of just doing speed runs back and forth, back and forth. If I was actually to be running it on a track and just constant more than 25 to 30% throttle, I'll probably be going through the tank a little quicker. A lot of people look at putting bigger tanks in this and this. Honestly, just stop and pop some more fuel in it. This is the fuel I run, Bones 30%. It uses VP nitromethane and methanol, and they use their own synthetic castor oil package in it. Like I said, they're a pain in the butt to work on, but they last. That's the one thing I will say about plastic. It flexes, so you don't have to worry about it. Metal, when you put something metal on it, if it bends, most likely, if you try to bend it back, it's going to break. Unless it's titanium. I know some people that have titanium Maxes. They're not even called T-Maxes. They're nitro. You got the Magneto, the Phantom, the E-Phantom, the Blackbird. There's a lot of them. Central Max makes them. You also got the Gorilla Max. There's a lot. And everything's aluminum, titanium. I don't like the hinge pins on the Fortec because it uses screws and not hinge pins with set screws. I think that's the same with the Fortec. I can't remember, honestly. If I was to actually compare this to another vehicle, I would compare it to a Raider brushless on 3S or a Traxxas Rustler on 3S. That's how mental this is a trophy truck. This is what's categorized as a trophy truck. Very fun. Very, very fun. This is basically my go-to if I just want to grab something, go have fun. This, the Raider, the T-Max, or my Mad Force. That's usually what I'll grab, but I have a lot more. My go-to on-road car would either be one of my two Nitro TC3s. One has rubber tires, one has foam. If I'm doing speed runs over 100 mile an hour, I'm definitely going to go with my Traxxas Funny car. I also have the bike, the 5th scale Nitro bike. I have my Schumacher. I have the HPI RS4 Sport 3 Flux and Drift. The Drift has a brushless setup in it with a high-speed servo. And I also have a Nitro RS4 Drift, which is a pretty rare car because they were made for a very short period of time. Both are very fun. I can't say that enough. They're extremely fun. That's the one thing about Traxxas. The skill level for this, because it's so powerful and so light, is 6. That's the same skill level as the X-Max, and the X-Max is actually easier to drive than this. And I've had an X-Max. I got X-Max videos from when I had one. I'll be getting a 8S X-Max after Christmas because right now my buddy over in Alabama that I go and visit every once in a while to buy RC cars from. I've already bought 4 from him. He has a Kyosho Inferno GT, and it has a .28, a Kyosho .28. It's like a GRX .28, and it hauls. It's a 2-speed. He sent me a video of it, and I'm in love. I gotta go get it. But pipes on the Fortec, I'm running a Jato silver pipe. On the Jato, I'm running the Jato blue pipe. The blue pipe gives more back pressure for more low end. The silver pipe has less back pressure going to the engine, so it's better for high speed. This, it's very fun to just get on the gas, and I mean, if you just at speed, you can jam the throttle down and it'll pull a wheelie. This is a mandatory wheelie bar vehicle. This has sway bars. This does not. This has a higher center of gravity. I think I've already gone over getting rid of the easy starts, losing 8 ounces of weight, and gaining a low center of gravity. So yeah, that's the Fortec and the Jato. I see some screws that I need to tighten down. That's one thing about nitros. Even with Loctite, the screws will vibrate themselves loose. Those 2 are loose. Well, one is loose, and then the front ones are tight. But I will say this, when you watch them in my video, if you're only running 20% fuel, you're not going to get the same performance as 30%. When I changed to 30%, it was literally like adding nitrous or strapping a turbo or supercharger on it. Because essentially you're gaining sort of like 10% more power, but it seems like more. I mean, you have 10% more nitromethane. And remember, top fuel dragsters and funny car dragsters actually use a mixture of 90% nitromethane and 10% methanol. So the stuff we use in RC cars, nitros, is the same type of fuel that is used in the fastest accelerating cars in the world. Just a lower percentage of nitromethane. But I do know some people that use 55% nitromethane, and you would really have to change your timing by adding some shims and using a colder plug. But that's them. They're fun, they're a blast, they're cheap parts. If you were to get one and it needs some parts, it's not expensive. If you blow a motor, for instance, I have parts to build another 3.3. I got a buddy who's selling me a head and a case and a back plate for $25. So, but I have everything else to build. I have a sleeve, piston, conrod, crankshaft, all that good stuff, carb. So, yeah, that's the Traxxas Fortec and Fortec 3.3 and Jato 3.3. Hope that helps anybody who's looking to get one or the other. I don't know if the Nitro Fortec is still available, especially with the Nitro Fortec 2.0 coming out. First it was brushed, and now you can get it with a VXL system. Personally, I would get a roller and put a Castle, Hobby Wing, or Tekin system in it. Probably either Hobby Wing or Castle, because honestly, a Fortec, I don't see putting a $250, $300 system in it. So, yeah, like usual, thanks for watching. Peace.